Hey everyone, Andrew Chelman here with MachineSkills.com. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube for more free tutorials, as well as stay tuned on our website, MachineSkills.com. In this video, I want to go over some ideas on how to move from your sample to some creative and unique slices that you can use for your machine projects. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm still learning how to do this. There's not one singular way that you can just move from a sample to a series of slices, but I'm starting to find my style, so I want to hopefully give you some ideas and maybe inspire you to use these ideas in your own projects. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and just go right into it. On my first group here, I have this guitar sample. So the first thing I did with this is just time stretch the whole thing, and on the hardware you can easily do that going up to sample, make sure you're on the edit tab, and then use these arrows up here to find the stretch option there, and you can go through and apply it and change some of the options. But with that said, I just increased the speed a little bit. And then from there I went through and made some slices, and these slices are on the individual notes of this phrase, so I can play them here. So the nice thing about slicing these on the individual notes is that you can easily change the tempo. So if you had slices with entire phrases on them with some of the individual notes of this song, if you tried to change the tempo, that wouldn't quite line up because the individual slice wouldn't change the tempo. But once you have the slices on all these individual notes, you can easily have some freedom with that tempo there, so it makes it a little bit easier to lock in your project tempo as well as make changes down the line. So that's one way of slicing, is to take your phrase and chop it onto the individual notes and then work with those. Now moving on, here's my next sample. So this is this really powerful orchestral piece, and it was kind of a challenge finding some slices here, but the end product I'm pretty proud of. I really like how it sounds. So what I did here was a similar one to that guitar sample I just went over. I took some of the individual notes out, and I also used some phrases because it ended up sounding a little bit smoother. So I started with this. And as you can probably tell, it didn't sound very smooth, so I transitioned to more of an idea like this. So I have that phrase on these pads here. And then I can hit these long notes down here on these three pads. And like I talked about, you have that freedom with the tempo, so you can get some really cool sounds there. So there we go, some more ideas on how to slice with those. A combination of individual notes as well as phrases from the original sample. Now moving on to my next group. So this one, when I first heard it, I wasn't quite sure what to do. I was going to try to do some of that original idea with individual notes. However, when I tried to do that, it really didn't work out. So what I ended up doing was just basically using the whole phrase. The neat thing about this sample is there's sort of a built-in different section that you can use. The downside of this sample is that I'm basically using it in its original form. So for me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable using that on a for-profit project if I was like selling a beat or something like that. But for just messing around or finger drumming or whatever, totally fine to use. Now moving on to the next one. So this, you can probably already hear these slices come to life, and that's really cool when you find a sample like that that kind of just lends itself to the slices. that's really fun to play. You have those really powerful horns as well as those cymbals, and everything sounds really huge. So these are some great slices here, and I'd like to sequence these in an original melody. So just instead of going, maybe something like, I don't know, I'd have to play around with it a little bit, but you have those nice options because you have those individual hits. So lots of possibilities there, and this cool vocal hit as well. All right. Anyways, moving on to the next one. So I worked with this one just on a project a few days ago. What I did was move it up onto a new pad and then pitched it up. And on the hardware, to do that real quickly, make sure you're out of sampling and then head over to the second page of parameters on your sound tab over here. And you have this tune option here. I just moved it up to 3. And then from there, I made my individual slices. So lots of possibilities with this. It's nice because it's such a slow piece that you can really get these nice slices. Anything from little vocal hits to even like instrumental hits like this little piano note here. So that's another idea there. Play with the pitch of your original sample. And it's also important to note that when you change the pitch, when you increase it, the sample is going to speed up a little bit, and vice versa for moving it down in pitch, it's going to slow down. Now moving on to my last example here, it's this piano track or piano intro. So what I did here was use Machine's internal EQ on the sampler to take some of the high frequencies out and get rid of some of those cymbals, and that's located on the sound tab on this third page of parameters here. You can see you can mess with that. So that just takes away some of the high frequency edge. And then from there I made my slices. So lots of possibilities there with those little phrases mixed in with the individual notes, like this one. And then you get those cool little piano trills or whatever. So I really like how those slices work out there. And that's just a way to show you that you can affect the original sample. And in this case, I used the EQ to take off some of those high frequencies, make it a little less jarring to the ear. And then from there, I sliced it up, and everything is sounding pretty much in line. That sounds really good when I add some drums. Hopefully I'll get a video up with what I made from that. So anyways, those are just a couple of ideas on how to move from your original sample to a series of slices. Like I said, there's not one single way to do it, so feel free to experiment, throw some effects on your sample, reverse it, pitch it up or down, anything like that. After a while, you'll find your own style and things will go a lot more smoothly. As always, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I will see you on the next video.